Imagine for a moment that your whole being is a living temple, not of stone, not of marble, but a temple formed by millions of small vibrant intelligences that we call cells. Now, let me reveal to you something that the modern world has wanted to forget. Your cells not only breathe, not only metabolize, not only execute chemical processes, they also listen, and they listen with the delicacy of a sacred ear. Yes, incredible as it may seem, every fiber of your body responds to a language that goes far beyond reason, a vibrational language that is activated with every word you utter, with every thought you translate into sound, with every vibration you let flow into the universe. Have you ever wondered why certain words heal and others hurt? Why a loving phrase can restore calm to the heart and a harsh word can make it sick? The answer is older than any science and deeper than any dogma. Words are vibration, and vibration is creative power. The ancient priests of Egypt knew it when they spoke of the living force of the Jeka. The Vedics knew it when they chanted mantras that aligned the soul with the rhythms of the cosmos. The Hebrew mystics knew it when they revered the sacred name as the key to all destiny. And you, even if you have forgotten it, you know it too, because your body remembers it. Your veins carry much more than blood. They carry information, emotions, memories of your lineage, and subtle responses to the energy of your voice. Every time you speak, you are not only emitting vibrating air, you are sending commands to the innermost part of your biology. Your organs hear you, your DNA receives the signal, and like a sensitive crystal, rearranges its patterns in response. Modern science, with experiments in cymatics, has already shown us how a sound frequency can order inert matter, drawing perfect geometries in sand or water. And if sound achieves that in external elements, what won't it do in your body, composed mostly of water and supported by a living electromagnetic network? The answer is clear. Every word you emit is a code, a vibrational command that is planted in your flesh, in your bones, in your spirit. But here lies the secret. It is not enough to repeat mechanical phrases. It is not enough to mumble empty words. The real vibration, the one that transforms, does not come from the mouth. It comes from the heart. A hollow affirmation is like a broken drum. It makes noise but does not harmonize. On the other hand, a word pronounced with pure intention, with conscious breathing, with aligned emotion, becomes a decree capable of transforming your biology. The ancients never prayed to ask, they prayed to create. Prayer was not supplication, it was a creative act. It was sound magic. It was science of the soul. When they pronounced I am, they did not speak from the ego, but from the divine spark that dwells in every human being. That I am was, and still is, a portal, a vibrational key that opens doors within the DNA, reminding it of its original design. Imagine then that every time you say, I am sick, I am tired, I am broken, you are planting destructive commands in your biological temple, and your cells obey. They do not interpret ironies or metaphors, they simply listen and comply. On the other hand, when you decree, I am health, I am abundance, I am light, and you say it from the inner truth, not from doubt, then your body reconfigures itself as an illuminated altar. Your glands secrete coherent substances, your blood changes structure, your nervous system responds with harmony. That is how powerful your voice is. Remember, the breath is the vehicle of the verb. If you breathe shallowly and repeat soulless words, there will be no transformation. But if you inhale deeply, if you expand your solar plexus, if you hold the word from the root of your belly, then that vibration becomes a song that penetrates to the marrow of your bones. It is not poetry, it is sonorous alchemy. The sages of all cultures understood this. The shamans by naming the spirits, the Vedics by chanting mantras, the Christian mystics by affirming that in the beginning was the Word. They all pointed to the same truth: vibration precedes form. First is the Word, then the world. First the sound, then the flesh. First is the decree, then the reality. That is why speaking to your body with reverence is more than a spiritual gesture. It is a physiological act of precision. When you say "I love you" to your heart, it responds with a more coherent rhythm. When you thank your lungs, you breathe deeper. When you bless your blood, your immune system strengthens. Magic, yes, but also biology. A biology that recognizes vibration as its original language. Prayer, properly understood, is not a weak prayer addressed to the outside. It is an inner dialogue with your own divinity. Do not ask as a beggar, decree as a creator. Do not repeat like a parrot, sing as a priest of your own temple. Do not use words as weapons against yourself. Transform them into seeds that germinate life. The body remembers. In its ancestral memory, it keeps the echo of those times when mankind still talked to the mountains and the stars. Every cell has heard before the power of the sacred verb, and when you pronounce it from the truth, it awakens and obeys. Therefore, when you say "I am," do it with reverence, as one who opens an ancient seal, as one who rings a bell that awakens the entire universe. Do it knowing that it is not only your voice that speaks, but the eternal spark that inhabits you. And if you doubt, listen to your body after every word. See how it reacts to complaint, how it shrinks in the face of fear, how it expands in the face of love. Listen to it as one listens to a teacher, because it is a teacher. Your cells not only listen, they also respond. And that response is living proof that your word is creative power. So start today. Speak to your body as to a temple. Bless every organ, thank every cell, decree with love and with certainty. Turn your prayer into a vibrational technology that regenerates your biology and aligns your spirit. Because in the end, it is not about repeating inherited formulas, but about giving birth to your own sacred verb. Ask yourself, what does my heart need to hear today? What word does my blood need to release the ancestral pain? What decree does my soul need to remember who I am? And when the answer arises, pronounce it as a chant, as a loving command, as a ray of truth that pierces the veil of oblivion. Every word you speak from coherence is a seed, and sooner or later, that seed will blossom in your flesh, in your mind, in your spirit. Remember, the entire universe is still created by vibration, and you are not separate from it. Your word is the extension of the primordial word. Now then, let me leave you with a question to ponder silently. If your cells listen to you every moment, if your blood vibrates with every word, then what reality are you creating today with the language you use? If this message has resonated with you, if you feel it is time to wake up to the power of your own voice, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. Thus, together we sow more awareness, more truth, and more life in this world that needs it so much. The story, although it may seem closed in a circle of mystery, actually continues, because the invisible traces of what we have evoked continue to resonate in us, like an echo that does not die out. And it is here that the inexplicable acquires strength, when we understand that each fragment of truth that brushes our mind is but a key to an even greater door, a threshold to the eternal. What we have traveled through so far is not the end, but only the threshold of a vaster journey. For what sense would it make to speak of the sacred if we were to reduce it to an instant? The sacred, the mystical, that which throbs in the background of all things, is boundless, inexhaustible, infinite. Thus, the character that summons us today is not only a historical figure, nor only a symbol. He is also a reflection, an archetype of what we all carry within us. Stop for a moment and think, are you not also a traveler who walks between two worlds, the visible and the invisible? This inner traveler, like our protagonist, hears voices that are not of this time, perceives signs that others would call coincidences, but that you know
have a purpose, because life is not made of coincidences. It is woven of encounters, of glances, of instants that seem tiny and unimportant, but that contain entire universes. And those who open themselves to the sacred know it. The everyday is impregnated with the eternal. Our character, in his solitary and visionary walk, discovered that silences spoke more than words, that the breeze that brushed his face was not simply air, but a whisper of something greater, and every step, every breath, brought him closer to the mystery that enveloped him. But here, an even deeper truth emerges. That mystery is not to be found outside. It is not in the stone temples, nor in the ancient codices, nor even in the visions received in dreams. That mystery dwells in the most intimate part of the human being, in the heart that beats with a rhythm that is both human and divine. And then we understand the lesson. The true spiritual journey is not outward, but inward. Our character, who seemed to be traveling through deserts, mountains and labyrinths, was actually traveling within himself. Each desert was a test of inner emptiness, each mountain an ascent of consciousness, each labyrinth a reflection of the doubts and questions we all carry in our souls. From there arises the purest mysticism, to recognize that we are a microcosm of the universe, a mirror that reflects the infinite.
What happens in the stars also happens in our cells. What vibrates in the song of the planets also vibrates in our pulse. And in that resonance, in that secret dance, lies the truth sought by all the sages, prophets and poets. Our character, feeling this, could no longer live as before. He could not reduce himself to the routine, to the noise, to the world that remained superficial. His gaze had been transformed, and with it, his destiny. And perhaps, that is also your call, to understand that after listening to these words, you too cannot go back to being the same. Because you already know something in you has awakened. A lit spark cannot be easily extinguished. A seed of truth, once planted, will seek to grow, even if the ground seems barren. That is why this story is not just a story. It is also a reminder, an invitation. It reminds us that we are more than flesh and blood, more than names and dates. We are fragments of eternity living in time, and it invites us to listen beyond the obvious, to feel with the skin of our soul, to search in silence for answers that will never appear in books. And isn't that what we need most today? In a world saturated with noise, information and distractions, what our spirit really longs for is silence, depth and meaning. We want to return to what is essential, to what cannot be bought or sold, the experience of the sacred. Our protagonist understood there was no greater treasure than communion with the mystery. Riches and honors did not matter, not even the memory that others could keep of his name. The only thing that mattered was to have touched eternity with the fingers of the soul. And now I ask you, who have come this far, what traces will this story leave in your own life? Will you continue listening as before, looking as before, living as before? Or will you feel that there is a call within you, soft but insistent, inviting you to wake up to another reality? Think about this. Every word you hear resonates within you like an echo. It is not by chance that you are here, in this instant, receiving this message. The universe has mysterious ways of speaking, and one of them is to put you in front of the words your soul needs to hear. Receive it with gratitude, because this story is a bridge to your own transformation. And if you have felt even a glimmer of truth, a vibration that made you shudder, then don't let it fade. Walk with it, cultivate it, let it guide you. For perhaps that is the ultimate meaning of this entire journey, to remind you of who you are, to remind you of the sacredness that dwells within you, to remind you that you are not alone, that you are part of a greater whole, of an invisible web that connects every being, every star, every thought. The story of our protagonist does not end here, not even in these words. It lives on in you, in your breath, in your gaze, in whatever you choose to do after listening to this. And now, dear listener, I ask you, what will you do with this awakening?